Every dream you've ever abandoned is still waiting for one decision. Every promise you've made to yourself that you've failed to keep is still echoing in your mind. Every morning you hit the snooze button, every opportunity you postponed, every goal you pushed into tomorrow has been quietly building a wall between the life you have and the life you could be living. The most dangerous thing about laziness is not that it steals your time. It's that it convinces you you're still moving while you're standing completely still. Think about that. One day you will wake up and realize the years passed exactly as the days did. One excuse became 1 week. 1 week became 1 month. 1 month became 1 year. Then suddenly you're looking at a life that doesn't resemble the one you imagined when you were younger. The truth is, nobody plans to waste their life. Nobody wakes up and says, "Today I'm going to destroy my potential." It happens quietly. It happens through comfort. It happens through delay. It happens because laziness doesn't arrive looking like an enemy. It arrives dressed as rest, entertainment, convenience, and tomorrow. Here's what nobody tells you. Laziness isn't just sitting on a couch doing nothing. Laziness is knowing exactly what needs to be done and choosing comfort instead of progress. It's answering your future with silence. It's making excuses so often that eventually you start believing them. Most people never realize this, and that's exactly why they remain trapped in the same place year after year. Imagine if your future self could stand in front of you right now. Imagine looking into the eyes of the person you could become 5 years from today. Would they thank you for what you're doing today? Would they be proud of your discipline? Would they admire your habits? Or would they ask one painful question: why did you keep waiting? Let that sink in. There is a version of you that already exists in possibility. Stronger, wiser, healthier, more confident, financially secure, calm under pressure, disciplined when everyone else quits. That version isn't waiting for better luck. It isn't waiting for perfect conditions. It's waiting for you to stop making peace with laziness. The truth is that success has never been about talent alone. History is filled with gifted people who accomplished almost nothing because they couldn't master themselves. At the same time, ordinary people built extraordinary lives because they developed extraordinary discipline. The difference wasn't intelligence. It wasn't money. It wasn't connections. It was the willingness to do what had to be done long after the excitement disappeared. Think about your own life. How many books have you promised yourself you had read? How many workouts did you plan but skip? How many business ideas stayed trapped inside notebooks? How many conversations did you avoid because they felt uncomfortable? How many mornings began with motivation but ended with regret? Every one of those moments was a vote. Not just a vote for what you did that day, but a vote for the person you were becoming. Successes isn't built in giant moments. It's built in invisible moments. Moments when nobody is watching. Moments when you choose discipline instead of distraction. The world celebrates the trophy, but nobody sees the thousands of mornings that created it. People admire confidence, but they rarely witness the uncomfortable repetitions that built it. People envy success without respecting the sacrifice behind it. This changes everything. You don't need another motivational quote. You don't need another perfect planner. You don't need another Monday to begin. You need one honest decision. The decision to stop negotiating with your excuses. Excuses are incredibly persuasive because they sound reasonable. You're tired. You're busy. You don't feel inspired. You'll start next week. You'll have more energy tomorrow. Life is stressful. Everyone understands. And maybe all those reasons are true. But here's the question. Have they changed your life? Every excuse offers temporary comfort while quietly charging permanent interest. Every day you delay improvement, the cost becomes greater. Your confidence shrinks. Your discipline weakens. Your dreams become harder to believe. Eventually, the greatest pain isn't failure. It's knowing you never truly tried. There was once a young man who believed he was unlucky. Everywhere he looked, someone else seemed to have a better opportunity. Better education, better family, better finances. Every time he compared himself to others, he found another reason to remain exactly where he was. He waited for confidence before taking action. Confidence never came. He waited for motivation before changing his habits. Motivation disappeared every evening. He waited for life to become easier. Life became harder instead. Years passed. One afternoon, he met an older craftsman who had spent decades mastering his trade. The young man complained about how difficult success seemed. He talked about unfair circumstances, difficult people, bad timing, and endless obstacles. The old craftsman listened patiently. Then he asked a question. How many hours yesterday did you spend improving yourself? The young man hesitated. He couldn't answer. The craftsman smiled gently. Your future isn't being decided by your problems. It's being decided by what you do after facing them. Those words stayed with him. At first, he didn't transform overnight. He simply woke up 15 minutes earlier. He read a few pages each morning. He exercised even when he didn't feel like it. He kept promises to himself. Small promises. Promises. But every promise became evidence. Evidence that he could trust himself. Most people think confidence comes first. They're wrong. Confidence follows action. Discipline creates confidence. Keeping your word to yourself creates confidence. Finishing difficult tasks creates confidence. Every time you choose action over excuses, your identity changes. Think about that. End identity isn't something you're born with. End identity, it's something you build. Every action whispers a message to your mind. When you quit, your mind hears, I give up. When you procrastinate, your mind hears, tomorrow matters more than today. When you keep your commitment, your mind hears, I'm someone who finishes. The mind believes repetition. That's why habits are so powerful. If you repeatedly tell yourself, you'll start tomorrow, tomorrow becomes your identity. If you repeatedly finish what you begin, discipline becomes your identity. This is why laziness is so dangerous. It isn't stealing today's opportunity. It's rewriting tomorrow's identity. Here's what nobody tells you. Your brain loves efficiency. It wants familiar patterns. The more often you avoid difficult work, the easier avoidance becomes. The more often you confront difficult work, the easier courage becomes. You are training yourself every single day. The question is simple. What are you training yourself to become? A person who waits or a person who acts? Imagine two people beginning at exactly the same point. Neither is exceptionally talented, neither is wealthy, neither has powerful connections. One chooses comfort every day, the other chooses one uncomfortable action every day. The difference after 1 week is almost invisible. After 1 month, it's still difficult to notice. After 1 year, the gap becomes obvious. After 5 years, they appear to be living completely different lives. People call one lucky, people call the other unfortunate. But luck had very little to do with it. Daily decisions built both futures. Let that sink in. The world often misunderstands greatness. Greatness isn't dramatic. Greatness is quiet. It's waking up before you feel ready. It's finishing work after the excitement disappears. It's choosing growth when comfort is available. It's saying no to temporary pleasure, so you can say yes to lasting fulfillment. Every successful person eventually discovers the same truth. The battle isn't against other people. The battle is against the weaker version of yourself that constantly whispers, not today. That voice will always exist. It will tell you to sleep longer, to scroll a little more, to postpone one more workout, to skip one more opportunity. It sounds harmless, but one harmless decision, repeated hundreds of times, becomes a life of regret. The strongest people aren't those who never hear that voice. They're the ones who stop obeying it. And that's where your transformation begins. Not with a giant breakthrough, but with a quiet decision made when nobody is watching. A decision that says, from this moment forward, my future matters more than my comfort. That single decision, repeated day after day, becomes the foundation of a completely different life. There comes a moment in every person's life when excuses lose their power. It doesn't happen because life suddenly becomes easier. It happens because the pain of staying the same finally becomes greater than the pain of changing. That moment can happen today, if you allow it. The truth is, your future is not asking you to be perfect, it's asking you to be consistent. Most people spend years searching for the secret to success, while ignoring the simple habits that create it. They look for shortcuts because shortcuts sound exciting. They buy into the idea that somewhere there is a magical strategy that will make everything effortless. But life has never rewarded the person looking for the easiest path. It rewards the person willing to keep walking when the path becomes difficult.
Think about that.
Every meaningful achievement in history required someone to continue after their motivation disappeared.